Hello, everyone. It is Thursday. We are coming to you on a different day this week. I'm just double checking to make sure that we are live on Facebook. Looks like we are. Amazing. We are coming to you with an extra migraine strategy call this week. You ladies, we've had 3 amazing migraine strategy calls this week. Normally we come to you on Tuesday at 1 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, but we've had so many amazing women graduate the Freedom From MIgraine Method who have been willing to share their story with you that we wanted to make sure that we got all these in. So let me quickly introduce myself, and then I'm going to introduce our special guest today. So for those of you who don't know me, because we've had so many new people join, my name is Debbie Waidl. I am a certified functional migraine health coach specialist, here to help you find your migraine freedom without having to use quick fixes, pills, risky surgeries, things like hysterectomy and getting nerve blocks and doing Botox. Those are great to help you manage your pain in the moment, but we help you actually get to the root cause so that you can finally start seeing results, reducing the severity, duration, and frequency of those migraines, and finding your version of migraine freedom. So with us today is Linelle. Linelle, thank you so much for joining us today.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
Amazing. So Linelle is a mom of 2. Do not be surprised if you see one of them pop in our call. She's a 7-year-old daughter and a 5-year-old son, though grandma just showed up, so we may not see them. Grandmas are always great for that, aren't they?
They are wonderful.
Linelle is married, so her husband, the 2 of them raised these amazing children, and they're very fortunate to have, obviously, family that lives very close by, 5 minutes away, which is so nice. I know what that's like to have family around, especially when your kids are young. And you're in North Carolina, right? Is that correct?
Well, I have family in North Carolina. That's where all my family is, and I'm in Montana.
Okay, that's what I thought. I'm like reading this. I'm like, I didn't think she lived in North Carolina, but
Yeah.
so you're in Montana. I'm in New York. But it is nice to have our family close. And you're really busy. You assist your husband, who's a realtor, who just went out on his own to start his own company. And you're also a pastry chef. So a major part of what you do is you make food or treats for local businesses, which has to be challenging not to eat them all, I can imagine. I would have a hard time with that. But when we met, Linelle, you were having about 8 to 10 days a month, if I'm not mistaken, with migraines. And now we're down to about 2. Is that about right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It is, which is amazing.
It is amazing. So we're going to talk today how you did that during a pretty crazy time in your life. But before we hit that, how about just giving everybody give everybody your quick migraine story. We all have our migraine story, when they started, what it was like, what you tried, and what got you to the point of meeting us. So give us your quick migraine story.
Okay. I probably, it was over 20 years ago, 21. Yes, later tonight, honey. I'm sorry. And when a child did pop in.
It's okay. We love our kids. This is why we want migraine freedom, right? Yeah. So that we have the energy and the ability to be able to spend time with them. So they're just happy that mom's feeling good, I bet.
Oh, they are. And it's kind of, because it's sad when they remember you're in bed with migraines, or they get used to that, but they're not as used to that anymore. But yeah, so about over 20 years ago, I started getting migraines, and they were quite frequent. And then there was a season I had started a business with family because of just the stress, no sleep, everything. They were just debilitating. So it was so common that, then I don't know, you just, the pain, the chronic pain caused, almost like a depression, like you couldn't see the light at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah.
So I've had seasons where I worked on different things in my life to try to get them in order, and sometimes they've been a little bit better, but they were still really frequent, like you said, like 7 to 8, especially they flared up even more so. So I was desperate in the new year to get them under control.
Absolutely. So obviously you had been searching on Facebook or searching on Google for, what can I do? You've done all the things, and we're kind of all the same, right? We've all done all the things. We do the doctor, we do the neurologist, we try the medications, we try the natural fixes, we do the diets, we do all that stuff. But then you found us on Facebook, and you and I had a conversation, and you decided to join the Freedom From MIgraine Method. And I do remember our conversation because you weren't quite sure you wanted to join at that moment because of something that was going on in your life. So what was happening that was kind of making you a little hesitant about joining us in the moment?
Well, a lot of different things were going on. There's a bunch of transition in our lives. And then on top of that, we were doing a remodel on our kitchen. So I was concerned about my commitment level, even though, even before trying to be committed to doing things a certain way, like, eating better or whatever, I just didn't know how much it was going to require of me or how I could stick to it. My son and my husband coaches hockey. My son, they were like every weekend we were away in another town. So I thought, well, we're out a lot. And so how do I bring this with me when we're out a lot? And then my whole house was being torn up for this kitchen remodel. So
yeah. And obviously,
yeah.
And obviously when it comes to migraine freedom, food does play a role. It's not the only role. So many people think that food is like the key thing. And we look at 6 different key areas of inflammation and food is just one. But still, when your kitchen is torn up, you're like, how am I gonna do all this at the same time and not have a husband around and all that? So obviously we chatted and we talked about the fact that, hey, if you have 15 to 20 minutes a day, sometimes maybe a little bit more, but at least if most days you can get 15 to 20 minutes a day to yourself, that this is something that, you can make work. So how did you find that process? Everything is kind of an upheaval. How did you kind of get through and do what you needed to do for the program and for yourself for that 4 months?
I think it was a priority to me because I thought if I didn't take care of myself, I can't take care of everybody else. And it was hard. It wasn't always easy. And I know I help out at my daughter's school during the calls. So I'd try to get home as soon as I could to hear, replays on the calls. So a lot of times I was folding laundry once everyone was asleep, trying to listen to replays or doing dishes. I just thought wherever I am, let me just take it with me and make sure I learn. And it was just trying to be very mindful of the time that you eat away on social media or different things like that when you're tired. Instead, make sure I was listening to things that were helping me learn through the program more so. And it was a priority. I needed my health back.
I just love everything you just said. First of all, that you gave yourself that time, because as a mom with young kids, it's really hard. It's really hard to prioritize yourself. But, it's that old, analogy that we always use, right? The oxygen mask on the plane. If we don't take care of ourselves first, we're not going to be there to take care of our family like we want to. So you really did put that first. But the other thing that I love that you said is that you really kind of took the program everywhere you went. And when we created the Freedom From MIgraine Method, which is our signature program that we use with most people, we do work with women in many different ways based on what you need in that moment. But this happens to be what Linelle did and what many women who work with us use. We purposely created it so that most of it's audio. So you're not stuck in front of a screen. You don't have to look at my face or slides or whatever it is. So you can be doing almost anything. I mean, I've actually had women take me in the shower. They set their phone outside of the shower and they're like, hey, I've got 20 minutes in the bathroom. The door is locked. There's no kids in here and I can listen to a training. So it sounds like that you really utilize that throughout your day, finding ways to fit that in.
I did. And it helped. It helped to continue to be mindful of everything you were teaching too, by just intermittently, any chance I got, listening. Sometimes I was in the car driving and running errands, but I'd even tell the kids, Mom needs to do this right now. So I'm behind. And, they were okay with it.
Exactly. And you were never behind. We purposely build 5 extra weeks into the program for everyone.
Oh, yeah.
We did that when COVID started because we knew, right? We knew what was going to happen. So we give, our program is actually 11 weeks. There's 11 different modules that everyone works on. And we give everyone 16 weeks in the program purposely so that, like Linelle with 2 kids, going through a kitchen remodel, having other things that, are happening in your life at the time, that we don't have to worry about it. Because Linelle, as you and I were just talking about before we popped on, could you pick a time in your life that you knew would have been a perfect time to do this program?
No.
Yeah.
I don't think, even if I had thought it would have been a good time, it would life surprise me and hit me with other things. So no, I think you can't say this is going to be a perfect time. And if you don't make the time for it now, then I feel like the issue just keeps compounding,
Mhm.
or you lose a little more hope of like gaining that migraine freedom.
Yeah, I think that's so true. The longer you go with the pain, the more we start to normalize it. And the
Mhm.
more we assume that this is just our destiny and that there is no hope to get out of it. So that's really key. Yeah, I wish there was like some magic wand that I could say, this is the perfect time. Your life is going to be nice and not complicated. And you're going to have an hour a day to give to yourself. And, as you and I were joking, my kids are 26 and 22, and my life is just as busy as it was when they were 2 and 4, or 2
Mhm.
and 6. Sorry, I can't do math there. 2 and 6, but it's no different. It's just different
Mhm.
things that fill our time. Right. So it's so important to how you did take that time to honor yourself so that now you actually have more time,
Mhm.
right? Because
Yeah.
what happens with migraines? We waste time, right?
Oh, absolutely. Days. I mean, upon days. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So anybody watching now, and I've been so busy talking to Linelle, I didn't peek down to see if anybody's watching, but please let me know if you're watching live. Let me know where you're watching from. If you're watching on the replay, definitely give us a hashtag replay and let us know. And if you have any questions for Linelle, please pop them in. Facebook is not helping me. They're not showing comments. So there's probably some people out there watching, but tech is not always our friend. So I'll catch the questions afterwards. So everybody pop your questions in if you have them. But so Linelle, the program is a 4-month program. You had these modules and things to work on. What would be your biggest advice that you'd want to give to somebody out there right now that's saying, oh my gosh, how do I give 4 months of my life to something? Why would I do that? I just can't do that. Taking a pill is so much easier. What would you say to that person out there that's thinking that right now?
I mean, a pill is easy, but it means more pills and more. And I'm not putting down a migraine pill when you
Yep,
need
no,
it.
me either. I took lots of them.
But uh, but at the same time, I just think 4 months is a really short time. I mean, in light of, if any woman has struggled for over 20 years, like I
Mhm.
have, maybe not even that, 5 years feels like an eternity with a lot of migraines. And all you lose, because you can't be active in life, even the difference now in other stressful things have come up. And the remodel was one part, but other things came up, and just, I can tell my body's I'm coping better with it. If I get a migraine, sometimes I reflect and think, oh, I didn't do this, and I realize how sometimes you can fall back into old habits, and to carry that with you, because then you can apply it forever. I mean, I don't know. I just think it's wonderful to think this year I'm going to suffer less of migraines, even by half, if not more. And like most of the summer, my kids won't remember me having to take a couple days out, um, because of pain. And I think that's a really big deal. If you have kids, if you don't, I mean, just for yourself, I don't think 4 months is a big sacrifice in light of that.
Yeah. And I love how you mentioned, even if you don't have kids, because let's face it, not everyone in this group does. So
No.
it's just really your own time, right? It's your time to be able to do what you want to do, whether that be spend time with your partner, spend
Mhm.
time, advancing your career, be with your children, be with family. It's just, you've finally been able to take the power away from migraines and put the power back where it belongs in you, because it's your
Yeah.
life.
Well, I mean, because if you think about my 20s, I had them all the time. Some of
Mhm.
my 30s, you think about what you lose. Even on the other end, if it's going to be, yeah, just your time to do what you love. And I don't want to waste any of that.
I don't blame you. I don't blame you at all. And just because I mentioned medication, I'll bring it up. Number one, please, no one who's watching this, stop taking any medication. Any changes that you make to your medication should be done through a doctor. Everything that we talk about today, is for informational purposes only. So you should make sure you consult your doctor before you make any changes. We're definitely not anti-medication in this group. What we are is anti-medication for life, unless it's something you need to replace something. So for example, if you're type 1 diabetic, you're going to need to take, insulin for the rest of your life or you die. But someone is not going to die if they don't take Imitrex. Now you do need to find out how to get off of that Imitrex and get your body to do its job. So there's a difference there. And that's what we work on, is making you not a slave to medication. It's still okay to keep that migraine medication around. It's still okay to keep those NSAIDs over the counters, that kind of thing. But we work on helping you need them less. And when you need them, the pain is different, right? The migraines are not as severe. They don't last as long. They don't come as often. But sometimes they do, because we do live in the real world, right? Life doesn't stop. And there are some days you can't be perfect. There are some days that the blank hits the fan and life is really busy, and maybe you can't honor your body as much as possible. But the great thing is, as you're mentioning, it's different when that happens to you now.
Well, and it's huge if you've allowed your body to heal, because last week, like you said, life happens and everything can go crazy. And so my husband requested I can help him more by getting my license in real estate. So of course I took the class, which was like long. It was just compact and long, with, trying to ship the kids off so I could concentrate. But of course, the week I take it, they're both sick. I have one with an allergic reaction to a vaccine, and then the other one with the stomach flu.
Oh no.
And I almost thought, do I cancel? And it was also during my cycle. So I got a migraine, but again, not as intense, because my body's healed.
Yeah.
I could take a pill and it would, because before I could take one, I could take two, and I could still be out all day, but I was able to study. I was able to take care of them. And then the next day I was able to take the test, and with the clear, again, I had to take the medicine, but it was, all these things came together. Right. That, like, a child waking up at 3 a.m, when it's my, worst time of the month. And then I'm trying to study, and, so, and again, but that's huge. I didn't have to cancel because I couldn't get myself out of bed.
Absolutely. This is what we call the threshold, right? This is what we taught in the program about the migraine threshold. So we don't focus on triggers here. We really focus on the threshold, which is exactly what Linelle's explaining. So if anyone who's watching this has not seen the threshold training, please comment threshold below so we can make sure we tag you on it, because this is where our choices come in. And this is where sometimes life comes in and there isn't anything we can do. But Linelle knows the tools, knows exactly what to do, knows how her body's going to react. So you can get out of that spiral really quickly, instead of it continuing over and over and over again, which is amazing. I can't believe you did all that last week.
Yeah, I can't either.
Well, congratulations on taking that test.
Well, thank you. I was like, no, it's behind me. We got that done. Because those are the ways life comes at you sometimes. But it just, the times where you do everything that we've learned, and all of a sudden pain just dissipates. It's just amazing. I love that.
I love it. Well, you've worked really hard. Got a couple people on watching today. Amazing. Christina wants the threshold training. We'll make sure we get that to you. And Emma's watching, and Penny's watching. Got a bunch of hearts and loves in there. So thank you, ladies, for popping on to hear the interview. So we honor everyone's time. Linelle, tell me, is there anything else that you would like to share with these women who are out there right now, just like you were when you and I popped on Migraine Breakthrough Call, that you're like, I don't know, Debbie, I think this is the wrong time. I really got to wait. Is there any other little thing you want to share with them today to just help them honor themselves, and be able to move forward and not live their lives in pain anymore?
I think, like you said, about honoring yourself, I think that's one of the hardest things that I face, is you're worth it. And it's not that the people around me don't tell me that, but you are worth it to slow down, take the time for yourself, and heal and find out. You know, I was worried it might be one more thing where I wouldn't see a difference or not enough of a difference. And even when my husband checked with me, I explained to him, I said, you know, we're going through this remodel. Somebody other than our family is in our house almost all day. And he checked out fast because it meant he couldn't work. And then, but other things came that were stressful. And I said, you know how many migraines I would have gotten if I didn't have the tools that I have learned. And I think that's just so valuable. And I mean, and you're worth it. You are just worth taking the time to learn what you can to get better and to have a better life, you know, and have better health for yourself.
Mm-hmm. I love that. That is like the perfect way to end this, because I think everyone needs to know they are worth it. And I think we forget that sometimes. We get so caught up in, because we're moms, we're spouses, we're women, we love to be the carers, right? We want to care for everyone. So we do get caught up in that because that brings us joy. It brings us so much joy to do that. But if we do that all the time and don't remember to take care of ourselves in the mix, then we kind of lose ourselves. And then we end up not being able to do those other things as well as we'd want to. So I think that is absolutely perfect. So thank you for ending this on the absolute perfect note. And everyone that watched today and is watching on the replay, thank you so much for being here, for spending your time with us. If you have any questions, again, please leave them in the comments. Just tag us and let us know. I'm sure Linelle will be happy to pop in if you have a specific question for her. And, you know, if you have a question for us about the threshold or about the Freedom From MIgraine method, just let us know below. Again, Linelle, thank you so much for being here. I'm going to let you get back to your amazing children and your amazing day. I don't know if I should say get back to real estate or pastry or children or whatever else is on your long list, but we'll let you get back to one of those things.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here. Thank you everyone else for joining us. Here's to your migraine-free day, and we'll see you in the group. Take care, everybody.